Welcome to day 3 of the Next Move Clarity Challenge. Hello, everyone. I hope that you've had a really great day. I'm so glad that you are here. Pop it into the chat if you're 3 for 3 now. This week has been going by really fast. Does it feel fast to you guys too? Or is it just me? Oh my gosh, I can't believe. Okay, welcome, Jennifer. Awesome, Joyce. We're here. And over the last 2 days, honestly, you've done something that most people never slow down enough to do. And let's just recap. So, on day 1, you've named what's no longer fitting and why you've been feeling stuck. We covered misalignment burnout. On day 2, you've clarified what energizes you, what drains you, and you named a working direction to explore. Type into the chat your working direction, by the way. What came up for you from that exercise? I'd love to know. And today isn't about choosing that forever path, but it is about choosing a direction and one next step that you can actually take. Because again, we're not wanting to do this anymore. We're wanting to move in a direction, get feedback, get clarity. So as we wait for people to tune in, I'd love to hear what your working direction is or what themes came up for you from yesterday's exercise. I'm just going to give it another minute and just welcome everyone to day 3. This is going to be an exciting day. This is the day where we start moving. We start building that momentum. Okay, so Jennifer says training/teaching and working with animals. That's really good direction, very good clarity, and what a way to hone in on that intersection. Joyce sharing, presenting, onboarding. No worries. I'm actually sensing a lot of like forward facing, a lot of knowledge sharing, a lot of mentoring. Onboarding is like you like to get people moving and up to speed. So there's a lot of beautiful strengths in there and so many roles that could fit that direction as well. Consulting and media creation. Okay, and you said yes. Okay, awesome. So you guys are like moving in a direction, and the goal is to really trust that. You know, I think a lot of us get into analysis paralysis. We start to wonder about all the what ifs and the limitations and all the fears. And so that's what we're going to cover today. Because I want to share that most women don't stay stuck because they lack insight or information. They often stay stuck because they're trying to take action without enough support, right? And so this matters because a lot of you haven't been avoiding action. I know you're action takers. Type in action figure into the chat if you know you've been taking action. But chances are you've been trying to move forward without clarity. And I always say without clarity, we don't have interest. If we're not interested, then we don't have desire. And when we don't have a desire, our action often feels forced or it leads to burnout. So that's why everything begins with clarity. And it's also why I see so many job seekers make things like updating your resume or networking feel like such a chore. Like it feels so heavy because it's like, I don't really know what that desire, that interest, or that clarity is. And so just know that when resistance shows up, it is often your system, your nervous system, trying to protect you from repeating something that didn't pan out in the past. Our survival brains are really good at being like, nope, that didn't work. And so we start to delete, we start to distort, we start to generalize all this info to say, this isn't the right path. It's not safe to go down that road. So I want you to really get that even when you have a direction in your mind, your body, your nervous system can still hit the brakes on you. And most people call this self-sabotage. You know, let me know by typing a 1 into the chat if you've ever said, I know what I want, so why can't I make myself move? I know what I want to go after, but like, why does that goal feel so difficult to achieve? Okay, this is landing for you. Good. Here's the thing. What I see over and over again is there are opposing parts that you have conflicting. And you may already have the language for this, right? You have a part of me genuinely wants change. There's a part of me that really wants growth, the part of me that's craving something new. And then you might have another part of you say, but I'm scared. I'm worried it's not going to work, or I fear that I'm going to get rejected, right? So you have a part that is essentially pressing on the gas pedal, like, let's go. And you have another part that's pressing on the brakes. That's like, I don't know. I want us to be safe. I want us to be safe from disappointment. I want us to be safe from repeating a mistake. I want us to be safe from facing rejection or humiliation. And so when both pedals are down, the car doesn't move, right? Again, it's kind of like that analogy of expending a ton of energy, but not really moving in a direction. And again, it's not because the car is broken. It's not because you're not motivated. It's because your system is doing exactly what it's designed to do. Like, our human bodies are intelligent, and our brains, again, are wired for safety. So leaving our comfort zone is scary. For a lot of us, it can feel like too much, too soon, too fast. And the unknown is scary, right? Uncertainty is scary. So the work isn't about pushing harder on the gas. How many of you are trying to like push yourself towards something, and you're putting in so much effort, so much brute force, so much white knuckling? You're trying to like bring up all the willpower and forcing yourself through resistance. So type in me into the chat if you've been feeling this way. If you've been doing that for so long, it often leads to burnout and overwhelm and exhaustion, right? So it's not about just pushing down on the gas. We do need that. Yes, we need movement, but we also need to take time to understand the brake pedal, to really listen to it, to learn how to work with it instead of fighting it. Because when the brake feels understood, it actually can let up a little. And the gas doesn't feel so scary to press anymore. We don't have to push as hard anymore to get the same kind of momentum that we want. So when the pedal lets up, this is where you're going to be amazed at the momentum that you can get, right? Like, let me know if this is landing. Just type in gas into the chat so we can make sure that this is tracking with you guys. And then at the very end of this, we'll do a Q&A. So no worries if you have any questions. Okay, beautiful. Good. You guys are awesome. Liana, nice to see you. Okay, so quick show of hands in the chat. How many of you pride yourselves on being logical, analytical, or a good problem solver? Like, I'm very pragmatic. A lot of us were trained, primarily because of school and corporate environments, to live entirely in our heads, right? We got to think our way through things. And many of us have been taught and rewarded to prioritize logic, speed, productivity, like all those buzzwords. And what we've been trained to do is get disconnected from the neck down. Like, everything below our neck, that sometimes we feel so disconnected and we're like, I'm disconnected from myself. I don't really even know what I want, right? And so the problem is, when you're burned out or you're misaligned, your body is often the place where the information shows up first, right? Think about anytime you've been overworked in the past, your body forces you to slow down. You typically get sick. You get a cold. Your body is like forcing you to rest. So as we have like these symptoms coming up, a lot of times we disregard them, right? We dismiss them. So I actually want to slow us down today. And I want to do a fun, short exercise that I often do with my clients anytime I recognize they're too much in their head. They're just verbally processing, and they're just trying to think of their way out into a solution or to a direction or answer. And I can notice that they're disconnected in their body. So what we're going to do is, there's no interpreting here. you're not evaluating. You can't do this wrong. Just allow curiosity and whatever comes up. And we're just going to start to notice. So if it's safe for you, you're not driving, I invite you to close your eyes down. And if it's comfortable to just do a downward gaze, you can do that as well. I'm going to invite you to just take a moment to get settled here. See if you can feel the seat beneath you, feel supported by whatever is underneath you, and just allow yourself to slow down and get present with me. And if you notice that your jaws are clenched, see if you can unclench your jaw. If your shoulders are up, see if you can drop down your shoulders. If you notice your eyebrows are furrowed, see if you can unfurrow your eyebrows. And I'm inviting you to just take a slow breath in through your nose and slow exhale through your mouth. See if you can draw the air all the way down to your toes. Beautiful. We're going to do that one more time. A deep inhale. And exhale slowly through your mouth. And as you resume your normal breath, I'm inviting you to imagine staying exactly where you are in your current situation. Maybe it's the same role, the same environment, nothing changes. I just want you to notice what happens in your body. Maybe there's some tightness or heaviness, or maybe nothing at all. Again, there's no right or wrong, just feedback from the body. Now I want you to let that image go, erase it. And now I want you to bring to mind the working direction you named yesterday, or even a vision that maybe you've thought about but keep putting off. Don't analyze it, just picture yourself moving toward it. And again, just notice what your body does. Maybe you notice lightness or tension, curiosity or relief. Just notice. And when you're ready, take one more deep breath. Let it out. You can slowly open your eyes. I know that one was a really short one, but if you want, I'd love for you to drop what you noticed into the chat. What that experience was like for you. A lot of times my clients say like, wow, this is weird. I can feel sensations in my body, or there's contraction here, or even an expansion. Sometimes they get colors or they see images and textures. It's pretty cool. I'd love to know just any insights and how that was for you. So Joyce, the first image was tension, feeling defeated, like I needed to lay down. Yeah, that's that tension, that contraction is a big telltale sign. Jennifer says, felt heavy like a pit when I was in the same place. Yeah, there's like your body knows what feels dreadful or misaligned. Lee Xuan says, feel numbness around the throat area. Yeah, it's really interesting that we have different parts that speak up and we have different energies stored in different places. And oftentimes we want relief, we need to move it. And there's ways to move it so that we can have more lightness, more relief, and then we can move forward more easily. Sarah, my body tensed up thinking about nothing changing, but then felt lighter when thinking of change. How juicy. Love that. I'm going to read one more. I immediately tensed when imagining myself in the same position, but I released it when I imagined a new direction. I love it. Oh, and then second image from Joyce is smile, giddy, sit upright, and energy. Yeah. So pretty cool, right? If when you tune into your body for decision making, your body often knows before your mind does and catches on. Because again, we can come up with pros and cons list. We can try to analyze everything, but so many of the women I speak to say, I just want to feel fulfilled. I want to feel like I have a spark back. I want to feel like I have joy and laughter and lightness. And so we got to tune into our bodies. Beautiful. So if you felt resistance, by the way, just know that resistance doesn't automatically mean no, right? I think a lot of times we think about alignment having to be like the easy thing, the most in flow thing. That's not necessarily the truth. A lot of alignment comes from making difficult decisions and doing difficult things. But what's right for you is going to be a relief. Like relief is always the good sign and the right sign that is signaling, okay, this is the right alignment. This is the right path. And resistance usually just means slow down and get curious. So if you're following along in the workbook, you can write that down. Resistance doesn't automatically mean no. It usually means slow down and get curious. And again, a lot of us don't slow down, especially in this day and age where we're bombarded left and right. We don't have white space on our calendar. So what we just did wasn't about deciding anything. It was about reconnecting with information that, again, most of us are trained to dismiss or ignore. And your body, again, knows what aliveness feels like. You can see it in the chat, or what feels draining before your mind, again, is able to catch up. So I know in day one, we talked about misalignment burnout, what's no longer in alignment. But I'd love to know in the chat what your definition of alignment is. So I think that's a really big buzzword that's been floating around. I see it all the time. So pop into the chat what alignment means to you, or when you think about alignment, how you describe that. I'm just going to read off 3. Who's got the fastest fingers here? Yeah, what does alignment mean to you? See, feeling in tune with your emotions and mind. Beautiful. Okay, so Joyce has one in her career, finding meaningful work that brings joy and fun to my work-life balance. Yes, I'm hearing a lot of values and desires. Working in a space where I feel welcome. Yeah, Liana, so a lot of values, a lot of desires there. Being in flow, says Amanda. Beautiful. Living and working with intention. Yeah, beautiful. Like I love that each of you have definitions. There's no right one word answer. This is something I talk a lot about with my coaching friends. And oftentimes when I think about alignment, I don't mean perfection. To me, I've always described it as congruence, like where your mind, your body, your values, your desires are all working together. Like my mind's on board, my body feels safe to say yes. This is aligned with the values that I want to honor, the desires and the vision that I want to see. So beautiful to see your guys' examples. Um, I want to share that awareness doesn't move your life forward, right? Awareness is great. We all need awareness to have that first step, but it is just a first step. What we actually need is sustainable action, right? And let's be honest, it's hard, especially in isolation when we're stepping out of our comfort zone. Again, the gas and the brakes can come on anytime we're leaving our comfort zone. And this is the reason why so many people hire fitness coaches, right? Or book authors have editors. Sometimes we're better at following through when we know others are holding us accountable. Type me into the chat if you know, like when I declare my vision or I say I'm going to get X to put out into the world, like I'm going to do it if I announce it to the world. That's me, by the way. So let's go over a structure that I use with clients when they're clear enough to move, but they don't want to do it from a place of panic or burnout or repeat old patterns that cause them to feel like exhausted and heavy. And I want to call this the next aligned direction. This is not about a final destination. Again, I think a lot of us were taught, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or what's your 5-year plan? And honestly, I don't know if we can see that far ahead oftentimes, but we know what a direction is. We can start to move in a direction. And what I found is that life often gives us better than what we could have imagined. Like some of the things that have been on my path, I would have never guessed I'd be doing, including this today. So again, we don't need to map everything out. We need a direction. So if you want to follow along in the workbook, the first thing we're going to do is choose 1 to 3 directions. Again, these don't have to be job titles. They're just directions of what you want to explore. So again, from day 1 and day 2, maybe it's like less oversight, more autonomy, or less tactical operational stuff, more strategy, less administration, more creativity. Or again, maybe you have that clear next direction. You already know what you want and what lights you up. You can go ahead and write that down there. Step number 2 is then going to be about choosing one experiment. So again, what's one low risk way to test that direction out? I know a lot of us like to, again, think in our heads. We love to research. We love to put together a list. But what is one experiment where I can actually try it on, that I can actually get real world feedback on how this is? So for instance, I have a client who's really curious about more strategic roles, and she wants to leave higher ed. It's all she's known. She's been there forever. But right now, she's reaching out for informational interviews with people who work as chief of staff in companies like Disney, which is like completely opposite of higher ed. So you want to choose one thing that you can do to get more clarity. So again, it can be researching competitors. It could be putting together a market survey, maybe going to a meetup event. Just going to think about like, what is that one experiment? And then we're going to break it down into a micro action. So choose one next step this month. Something small enough where your system isn't like, nope, shutting the brakes, dismiss, procrastinate. Clarity, again, comes from that micro action. So you don't think your way into clarity or certainty, but you discover it by doing it, right? So in this example, her next step is coming up with a list of 5 people to reach out to and to send a genuine message. So we want you to choose your action. And then most importantly, we got to have accountability. By when? Write down the date, put it in your calendar. You're going to commit to it. Okay. And congratulations, you've got progress. So I want to share that I really hope that you do this assignment, because again, I know a lot of you are here right now because you're tired of being in the same place, that dread, that heaviness. So really allow yourself to commit. And I'd love if you want to even send me an email update. Just respond to any of my emails, letting me know you've done it so I can congratulate you and cheer you on as well. I do want to share that there's something that typically happens, I've noticed in my clients, when they start to choose a direction and they start to experiment like this. At some point along their journey, they'll often think, okay, how do I know if this is still aligned or if I'm forcing myself to make something work? In other words, like, how do I know this is the right path or I'm doing something out of fear? Right? So here's the distinction that I want you to have. Real deal breakers are calm. If it's a deal breaker, it's often sounding very grounded and clear, like a fact. It's things like, I tried this and it's become clear that I don't want to explore this anymore. I tried this and it's become clear I want to explore this instead. Or, wow, I tried this and this doesn't align with my values. Or I tried this and this schedule would actually be detrimental to me. So fear, on the other hand, feels very different. Fear is often really like loud and everything feels urgent and it fixates on what can go wrong. It's fixated on worst case scenarios. It's fixated on all the hypotheticals, right? And it just feels like a little bit panicky. So fear is always going to show up when you move beyond your comfort zone, right? Again, this is how we're wired. We're wired for survival and we're wired for safety. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're on the wrong path. It's because uncertainty is just unfamiliar, at least for now. So when fear shows up, again, this is kind of like the brakes. We don't let it drive. We slow down, we listen, we come back into our bodies instead of trying to just think our way through and logic our way through, right? So when we're back in our bodies, we don't ignore real deal breakers. I talk to so many people, they're like, there are so many red signs or like red flags, and I still made that choice because, again, that was fear driving the decision rather than knowing what's a true non-negotiable, what's my criteria, what is my filter that I'm running things through. So this is how you move forward and start trusting yourself again. Okay. Type into the chat like deal breaker if you know what your deal breakers are, and maybe even list some out. Okay, before we go any further, I want to zoom out for a second because I feel over the last 3 days we've covered quite a bit of ground. And I just want to acknowledge that you didn't just gather information, right? You started to practice a different relationship with yourself. That's what I want most for you, right? Because again, a lot of you are very smart, very capable. You can figure out the answers, but you stopped forcing answers. You actually listened to your body without panicking or jumping into fix-it mode. And today, you learned how to move forward with starting to incorporate the body as well. And I just want to share that that's a pretty real shift. Like most people either ignore their inner knowing or they let fear and pressure drive their decisions. So, what you've been building instead is discernment, the ability to tell the difference between this genuinely doesn't fit and this just feels uncomfortable because it's new, right? That's what I want you to build that skill around. And it's just a skill because that's what ultimately builds the clarity and the confidence to make sustainable change. Again, a lot of us think we're just born with it or we have to willpower our way through, but it's really understanding that discernment and being able to make our own decisions and tuning into ourselves rather than outsourcing to ChatGPT or Googling all the answers or asking everybody else for their opinions. So now I want to offer a little loving, tough love. This is the moment where most people stall out, and it's not because they're lazy. It's not because they don't want it badly enough. After any type of training, any type of workshop, any type of conference, everybody leaves with a lot of motivation and a lot of like, I got this. But then what happens? Real life kicks in, right? When work gets busy, you get tired, you have a gazillion things to juggle, and then your brain goes back into survival mode. And typically, A week from now, the clarity that you feel today starts to fade into a distant idea. And chances are you tell yourself, I'll come back to this when the timing is right. I'll come back to this when things calm down. And then it's March. And then it's summer. And the next thing you know, another year has passed by. And I really don't want that for you. So if something shifted for you during this 3-day challenge, I really need you to hear this. You don't need more information. You don't need more research. You don't need more content. What you really need is support and accountability, staying connected to yourself. And so I really want to show you what that support actually looks like if you want to keep going on this journey beyond these 3 days. And that support looks like my signature program, Inner Magic. I really want to share this with you because I've designed it for smart, self-aware women who know that they're capable, but feel unsupported while making big life decisions. Like every decision feels heavy at this point. And what you're really craving is community, accountability, and support so that you can start to move without having to do everything alone. Does that sound good, by the way? Okay, I'm saying exactly. So true. Yes. Inner Magic is really the space, the safe space where you can practice a goal and move toward it in real life and actually get support around the real obstacles that come up. So, in this 90-day group program, I really want you to be able to do 3 main things. These are my objectives for you. Step 1, get clear. We uncover what I call your North Compass and figure out what path is most aligned for you and at the intersection of your values, your strengths, your real needs, and your real non negotiables so that you can narrow in on one direction that fits. Again, this isn't like my forever plan, but the one that I feel committed to in this chapter of my life. And we get to turn that direction into realistic roles and titles and options that fit your current background. I'll share a lot of our clients, they'll either go entrepreneur route or they'll find a new 9 to 5 route. Many of our clients get clear and then they feel relieved, finally knowing what direction they want to move into. So the goal here is that you can say, here's my criteria that fit who I am today, that I filter opportunities by. I know what is a clear yes and what is a clear no, so that I no longer waste my time and energy on things that don't light me up anymore. How many of you are just sending out applications into the void because you don't have a criteria in place? So when you have that, step 2 is to build a grounded plan. We map out the next 6 months to a year into doable steps. This isn't a fantasy plan. This is a plan that works with your capacity, your energy, where you are in your life. And I'm all for quantum leaping. However, I want to move you in a way that your system can actually sustain. And I believe slow and steady wins the race. And it's great when things move quicker, but we just got to start. We got to build that momentum. We got to take that action. We got to have that consistency. And then step 3 is to take action with support. So this is the part that changes everything. Again, clarity without action is just an idea. And action without support typically turns into burnout or another thing that fell to the side. I don't want you to white knuckle this alone after work when your energy is already gone. I want to be able to meet you where you're at, see what's coming up for you, check in on you, and make sure that you know what your next step is and you have guidance and support in executing it. Does this sound helpful? Let me know in the chat if this kind of sustainable 3-step support system would be helpful to you. I know Inner Magic is really designed for you if you can identify with any of these. You feel stuck, burned out, overwhelmed, and you want clarity on a direction. You want clarity that can turn into real momentum, and you're willing to take small, real steps, even when it's uncomfortable, but at least get support in being able to do that. Let's also talk about who this is not for, because I don't want you to waste your time and money and energy. This is not the right program for you if you need a job immediately and you're looking for any job, you're in full emergency mode. This is also not for you if you can't commit to 2 hours a week on your goal. You can work at your own pace, but if you're consistently unable to carve out 2 hours out of your week, then I'd rather you save your money. And finally, if you're not willing to take action, this program won't help you if you just want to consume information. I really want to make sure that we're walking through a process and we're taking action. So hopefully that helps eliminate some people here. And I want to just do a quick gut check-in. So if you had the clear, realistic direction on what title, what role, what direction you're headed to next, plus support for 90 days, do you think that you could build real momentum? Type yay into the chat if you think you would. Okay, let me see. I know there's a lag, but I'm going to check out who we have. Okay, Joyce, yay. Rose, yay. Jennifer, yeah. Yay. Senta, yay. So awesome. Yeah. So let me simplify what support actually looks like inside of Inner Magic, because I know when people start hearing about programs, they just start getting a lot of logistics and features thrown out. But to simplify, there's really 3 layers of support here. So the first is a clear structure. I'm walking you through a 6-phase process. So you're never guessing what to work on next. You're never wondering if you're doing the right thing. Each step of the process is to help you build clarity, help you build self-trust, and then move through the fear and the challenges and the beliefs that are keeping you stuck. The second is life coaching. This is where you get to bring any of your fears, any doubt, any resistance, and actually get it addressed in real time. So we're going to, again, start taking action together, typically around week 6 when you have the clear direction. So again, any challenges that are coming up for you, bring it forth. I want to support you around it. And then the third is between call support. So we'll have a private community, really great place to be able to connect with others who are sharing similar goals, but also a place where you can get direct support from me in between calls. So this is if you need feedback on anything, you are job searching, you do have business ideas, you want to talk through anything, that's a really great place to bring it. But anything between sessions that is just I'm losing sleep over this, I need support around this, just know that you can get support in between calls as well. And for this enrollment period, I'm actually really excited to announce something new that I'm adding on, which is bonus strategy pods. I found that after people get clarity, people often again want to start a business or creative project, or they want to land a new job or get promoted inside of their company. So they kind of go down 2 paths. There's a career path, and then there's a business path or entrepreneur path. So around week 6, this is when it gets really fun. We will add optional boardrooms where you get to be in your smaller group pods, and you can think about these as strategic board meetings. Essentially, any how-tos, any tactical questions, any strategic questions coming up, you bring them and we can answer them. So yes, I can help you with your job search stuff, what's my messaging, how do I network, or the business stuff, how do I do a market survey research, how do I come up with researching competitors, et cetera, et cetera. What's my pricing supposed to be? So These calls, again, are to help you make sure that you have the momentum and you're not stalling out and you're not getting into analysis paralysis, but you know what to do each week and you're doing it. And then again, bringing forth any challenges, any fears, any resistance coming up so that we can support you. And in this program, there will be 4 calls in each pod, and we're going to send out a survey to find the best dates and times. These, again, are completely optional if you want additional support. So let me know if that sounds exciting to you. I think it's going to be so much fun just having like a mini mastermind of others. And there's so many brilliant people that join these types of programs. So let me check in. Do you think that by having inner strategy and outer strategy, you could be successful towards moving toward your goal? I definitely think so. I'll also add that women in our past cohorts have landed new jobs, they've earned promotions, they've launched side projects or businesses. And a lot of them have actually used this to improve their relationships and their health. The beautiful thing about this entire process and framework that I walk you through is it helps you get clear on your big domino goal, so to speak, but it helps you build the self-trust to go after any goal. So again, it's a repeatable framework that you can apply to any area of your life. And I also want to share that everything is designed to be manageable for the busy, overwhelmed person. I want to share that the modules on average are about an hour, but the time we spend together on our calls, again, you don't need more information. It's not necessarily about learning new frameworks or content. It's more of a safe space to start receiving support, doing nervous system regulation, getting accountability, and have somebody help you just talk through what is on your mind and where you may have blind spots. Okay, beautiful. I'm glad this is resonating with you guys. So I also want to name the real cost of staying stuck, because I've had a client ask me, like, what's the ROI on this? And I thought about this, for women that I work with, the cost is not just saying, I don't love my job. It's often what I see is feeling drained and having this constant mental noise, losing confidence and trust in yourself. That's a big one. The feeling of Sunday scaries, the low grief of knowing that you're capable, but you're not moving and asking, like, what if I'm wasting my potential? And for many clients, they actually express that their current situation is affecting their relationships and their health as well. So I really want to pinpoint that, because I feel like it's not something that we talk about enough, but whenever we feel stuck, it has ripple effects, right? And I've truly seen and found that the longer you stay in that loop of self-doubt, the harder it is to trust yourself and make a move again. So this is really why I want to break those patterns and start working towards a direction and getting movement together so that we can break that pattern. And yes, inner magic can help you with a career move. Again, our clients have made career moves through this program, but what I'm actually celebrating most is that they say time and time again, the surprising deeper win is just feeling more peaceful, joyful, relaxed, and fulfilled again, or trusting again. So this to me is your inner magic, by the way. Like, how I define that is stepping into the radiant version of yourself that's already inside, but usually is clouded underneath the fear or the uncertainty. And again, like having different parts come up against each other. So I don't want you to just hear it in my words. I actually want to share a short clip of an inner magician, Lauren, because she explains this so beautifully and articulates it way better than I can. Quick background on Lauren. She struggled with her job search despite having a really impressive background, pedigree, and I can vouch for her resume as well. And when she joined the program, she said she was convinced that she didn't know what she wanted. But yet, after module 1, she got clear on a business dream that she had for a while, for many years actually. And she finally gave herself permission to start it. And so this month, actually, she's hosting her first event ever, and she's putting her idea into the world, which is so exciting. So let me share this really quick. It's a quick clip here. This is Lauren.
So before Inner Magic, I was feeling very frustrated and stuck in what I was trying. Also wasn't working, or like I wasn't getting the results. Really unlocked for me then in terms of like
Okay.
getting in tune with
Um,
what
Let me see. I tested this earlier and it was working, but of course it stopped. So let me just play this one more time. I apologize. And I'm going to put up the volume. Okay, let's see if I can figure this out. Okay, let me try it one more time. So I really want you to hear her story. Okay.
So before Inner Magic, I was feeling very frustrated and stuck in what I was trying. Also wasn't working, or like I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. And so it's like, obviously something's not working out right, but I don't know what that thing is. And that also added to feeling very unclear and directionless. The first big shift that I could say I noticed or felt was the end of module 1 when we did like the visionary guided meditation. Something really unlocked for me then in terms of like getting in tune with what I really felt called to. And then when we did the nervous system regulation, just grounding, getting very still and allowing whatever was going on internally to like have space and show up was the game changer for me. After completing the Inner Magic program, I feel incredibly self-assured. I know what kind of life I want to live and how I want to contribute. I feel capable, equipped, and overwhelmingly supported. And as a recovering perfectionist, I am noticing that I'm making decisions and executing faster than I have in the past because I feel so aligned and clear. And even though I have no idea what lies ahead, I can honestly say that I'm excited for the journey. I trust the process, however it unfolds, and I'm less afraid to fail, which is really big. I could not have said that prior to Inner Magic. I would recommend this program to anyone who is feeling blocked or stuck and unclear about where they want to go and how to get there. And I would recommend it to people who are interested in doing that deeper introspection and ready for a shift and looking for support in how to get out of their own way.
Ugh, she's so articulate. I told you she could explain it better than me. So let me stop share. It's really neat to see her light up and trust herself again, because I know when she came into the program, she was not feeling that way at all. So type "Go Lauren" into the chat if you can resonate with any part of her story. I just really love hearing and seeing the shifts of the befores and afters. So awesome. Uh, if you're thinking, by the way, this sounds awesome, but I'm really busy. Again, I get it. And I also know that we make time for what's important. So this has to be a priority for you. And I want to share, this isn't about doing more, it's about doing the right things in the right order so that you're not expending energy just trying to like get in a situation or get in a direction. The other thing too is replays are available. So when we have our 6 group calls, we're going to alternate days and times for when those can be scheduled so that we can accommodate different time zones. But just know that support is always available when you need it. So again, you don't have to attend every call. They're there, but there's also direct support in the group. And honestly, we'll meet you wherever you're at. So this isn't school where you have to have perfect attendance and turn in every assignment. We have a lot of busy professionals, and some weeks they fall behind. That's okay. But I just want you to make time for this program and start being committed to like, I want to actually take steps in the right direction. I'll share one of my clients, Charlene. Actually, she shared how much time she got back from the program because when she was, first off, she was worried that she was too old for a new job. She had been in the same company for 13 years. She was severely underpaid and resentful. And on top of that, she had a disability and she believed that there were no better options. And yet, as she started applying, she started networking for months before the program. She was getting rejections, and that again continued to convince her that there were just no better options. So when she joined Inner Magic, she named what she wanted. She started to walk through the process. And right before the 90 days ended, she ended up getting a dream job offer. And it came from an old college acquaintance who she had lost connection with, but they LinkedIn mailed her, referred her to their company, and she ended up getting an offer for the exact amount of money that was on her non-negotiables list. So I just think it's really cool, like how, because a lot of you know me from the Happily Hired programs, and a lot of that was like strategy and like tactics. But I think it's really cool that things just kind of fall into your lap when you just declare what you want and you trust the process and you move into a direction. So she ultimately said, like, I feel I have so much more time and energy now that I'm not drained all the time. And that's what I want, right? It's nice to see possibilities in life rearranging itself. Okay, investment. Before I drop the price, can you just type a one into the chat if this program sounds supportive for you so far? Like, let me just see some ones coming through to see who this is resonating with. And then we'll get into the details. Okay, beautiful. So Rose is a one, Joyce is a one. Awesome. So I want to share that one-on-one coaching with me is $4,500 for 6 sessions. So if you want to do one-on-one, there's that opportunity and path. Inner Magic is just $19.97 for the full 90-day experience. Or you could do 3 payments of $750. And what you're really getting is this, right? You're getting a proven step-by-step process to get clarity and self-trust back. You're getting a space where you can bring both your internal challenges and your external strategic questions to go get momentum. And you're getting support over 90 days while you choose one clear direction and actually move on it. So over these 90 days, again, we'll land on a realistic direction, finally get clarity and stop spinning. We'll translate this into real roles that make sense for you. We'll map out a grounded 6 to 12 month realistic plan and then take consistent action together so that you can get the coaching, the accountability, and support and strategic guidance as questions come up. So you never are left guessing or wondering. So I'm going to have Perez drop the special link to join us inside the chat right now. You can read more details on there. There's some other things that are included that I didn't talk about here because there's just a lot of support inside. But take a look at it. This link is going to expire in 1 day because it has a special bonus, which I'll go over in just a minute. But before we do so, I also want to share the clarity promise because I believe so much in this framework. If you complete module 1, you fill out your North Compass and you're still unclear on your next direction, then I want to keep working with you closely and offer direct support until you are clear. Because to me, clarity and confidence are really built through a process, and this is exactly what the program is designed for. So I also want to share that because I know overthinking is a real sport, if you enroll with this special link right now, I'm offering a private one-on-one 1-hour coaching session with me to use anytime during the 90 days. When something feels challenging, you want to talk things through, you're losing sleep over something, we'll handle it together. This is something that I normally reserve for my private clients or those that do the 6-session package. So I can't offer too many of these. This is going to, again, disappear in 24 hours. This link is going to be no longer available. So if you know you're in, jump in right now so that you can take advantage of this fast action bonus. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Okay, we'll get to Q&A, but I just want to share too, like if you've been feeling stuck for a while, the most self-honoring thing that you can do is stop doing this alone. Like I really want you to hear that. And I'm just speaking from the place of talking to so many people. And I think I saw in day one, like somebody has been feeling stuck for 13 years. Like time compounds, but we can break that. We can get you back in track and find that direction and rebuild that self-trust to move in that direction. Like I really want you to know that you're not alone. And if something in you just felt lighter, clearer, or more relieved during this challenge together, that's not an accident. Let's bring her into this 90-day journey. Again, enrollment is open officially right now. Yay. And it closes on January 30 at 9 p.m. Pacific because our cohort is going to start on February 2nd. We will have all of the onboarding and information inside. All you have to do is just be ready to receive and to be open and curious and go on this journey for the next 3 months, starting February 2nd, through committing on one big goal, one direction, and start moving towards it. And again, we'll blend inner strategy with outer strategy and get you there as quickly as possible. And again, the fast action bonus for the free one-on-one call with me is ending in 24 hours. So snag it while you can. And I can kick us off. Let me know if you guys have questions about anything in the chat. I will go into some questions that I know I've gotten in my inbox recently, and I'll kick us off. But if you are in, I just want to congratulate you and welcome you. Sit tight. We're going to start again on February 2nd, but actually I have 2 modules ready for you when you join. So this is very self-paced, by the way, but modules 1 and 2, module 1 does take some introspection and time, but if you, and that's the clarity module. So if you don't know what you want, you don't have a North Compass, you're like, who am I? Module 1 is really going to meet you there. And I want to say that if you are somebody who has been feeling very burned out, you're in this constant fight, flight, freeze, even fawn response, you just feel like, oh my God, I can't even think clearly. Nothing excites me. I just feel so drained and blah. I actually invite you to start with module 2, get your nervous system regulation and practices in place, and then return to module 1. So just FYI, it's kind of like a choose your adventure, but you'll go in and you'll know. Let's see. I'm going to answer your question in just a bit, Joyce. And I'll have to ask you to expand on that because I'm not entirely sure I understand the question. If you could ask in a different way. And yes, so let me walk you through what it entails. And then, yeah, if you have questions about your specific situation, I'm happy to address them as well. I know we're at time. I'm happy to stay on for another 15 minutes and just address any questions. And then just know you can always respond to any email. I'm super open to connecting with you and giving you an assessment if this is the right fit for you as well. But if this resonated with you, if you love these 3 days, then we'll just take everything deeper and go further. So let me actually read Lee Schwann's. I feel I have no growth in my current role, but this role provides stability and flexibility. This is what I need in my emotional healing journey. But now I start to think of my next dream job. Yeah, what a beautiful thing that you have stability and flexibility right now. And I'm hearing there's a desire for change. And so to me, I like to think of an analogy of the ocean. Like a lot of people are drowning at sea right now, right? When you're unemployed, but you don't know where rent is coming from and you have all these bills, that can be really like, oh my God, I'm drowning at sea. I need to get to any island right now. I need to get to a safety boat. What I'm hearing from you is like, hey, I'm on this island. It's pretty chill, but kind of bored, or I don't know if this is where I want to be forever. You're in a great place, Lishan, to actually, like, this is inner magic would be for you. This is for you to ideate and start to expand. Okay, well, if I'm not going to be here forever, what island do I want to go to next? And can I start paving my way there? Again, we don't have to like get onto a rocket ship and move there overnight, and we don't have to make drastic moves, but can I start planting the seeds? Can I start getting the momentum in that direction and build a way there so that I'm not just here forever? And that's another thing that I want to challenge, because I think a lot of times we feel like stability and flexibility is so good in one place. We kind of, our safety brain again assumes, well, what if it's not as good at other places? What if I have to sacrifice this for that? And something I'm really big on is finding the and. Can we find something that is safe, flexible, stable, and gives you all those other things that you're missing? So just know there's so many opportunities out there, but that's kind of the vision that I want you to start planting for yourself. And I had another thought to add to that. If it comes to me, I'll share it with you. Okay. So will this work for me if I don't know what I want to do? Yes. So I want to share that this is exactly what this is designed for, and or you know what you want to do, but you know you want accountability. You need accountability and support in getting there. Okay. Do the cohorts have lifetime access to the modules, groups, etc.? So the modules, there's 6 modules. You get 3 years access to all the modules and the updates. And there's some extra bonus trainings inside of there as well. So you get 3 years access. Again, you can work at your own time. Every call will have a replay and it'll be in there. And then the group itself will be open for 90 days. But after the 90 days, if you want ongoing support, you don't have to pay the whole $19.97 again. We're going to open up a membership so you can add on monthly for the group calls and the support if you want it. I know we've had other people in our past cohort ask, can I just get the coaching and the support and have the momentum and accountability? So yes. Okay. Will this help me find a job or make a career move? Yes. Again, something that we're adding to this is the tactical support. So I have the background of being a job search coach and recruiting and HR knowledge. I also have the background of creating a business and kind of like the launching different projects and creative projects off the ground. So at the 6-week point, there will be tactical strategic support in helping you through any questions coming up for you. And I think it's also beautiful that we have other people who are experts in their fields, and everybody like has so much nuanced expertise. So I really see it as like a beehive or like a mastermind where you can present your questions. I'll try to chime in and answer anything, but I'd also love to open it to the floor because I know there's a lot of brilliant women that are coming from all different backgrounds that can also add a lot of rich color to the conversations. Okay, what's the difference between this and your Happily Hired programs? Oof, great question. Happily Hired was very much about finding a job. Like, here's the whole strategy and how to, and go put together resume, LinkedIn, network, interview, negotiate. Again, we'll do some of that in this, especially if you need support, questions are coming up. I'm happy to answer them. But this, I will say, is more about building in the clarity and the confidence and the self-trust in getting to know, like, what do you actually want, and also how to just create more ease and more flow. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's a very holistic program. And fun fact is we've actually had a lot of Happily Hired clients. I want to say half the people who've joined Inner Magic are actually former Happily Hired clients. They've either gotten their jobs and they're like, yay, now I want to find something like that I'm truly meant for, or I just really want to like have a more easeful life and I want to learn these self-coaching tools. Or they were, I joined Happily Hired and I didn't even get through module 1. I had a really hard time like even committing or like making space for it because fear, doubt, resistance, which is all the things that we work through inside of Inner Magic as well. So hopefully that answers the question. Happily Hired, again, is very tactical. This one is tactical, but also has more inner strategy as well. When are the live calls? So right as of now, we have 2 calls a month for our 6 live coaching calls. We're going to alternate them on Wednesday evenings and Thursday, like 11 a.m. Pacific, but they can be subject to change. After enrollment closes, we're going to send out a survey, just make sure that that works for the majority, and we'll finalize it. But as of now, that's the placeholder, and the calls will happen. So again, one Wednesday a month, and then a Thursday a month, and it's every other week. So not too much. And then on the weeks that don't have calls, a module will be dripped out to you. Okay. Can you go over the module breakdown? It's actually on the link that my team has put inside the chat. You can read all about it, but again, it's a step-by-step framework. So the first module is about clarity, really figuring out your North Compass, what realistic role, what direction you're lasered in on. Module 2 is about nervous system regulation. How do you expand your window of tolerance? How do you create more capacity? Module number 3 is about breaking down your 6 to 12 month goal into, I want to say like very sustainable actions and clear next steps. And then module number 4 is about addressing any fears, any limiting beliefs, any of the blocks that really keep us stuck. Module 5 is getting to know your self-led leadership and starting to work with your parts. And then module 6 is going to be about detachment, what to do when you face rejection, when you feel hopeless, all of that, so you can get yourself grounded and back on track. The calls will be 75 minutes, Joyce. Okay, if one has a clear direction but doesn't have current technology skills or no bilingual and jobs are asking for that, do you have strategies, actions to move forward? Beautiful, Joyce. Yeah, so this again is where we can get really realistic about what is needed. If that's a path you want, okay, is it realistic? If not, what is the gap? Maybe there's an interim step. Or maybe there's, again, this is why I like to work with clients, because oftentimes I can tell we don't know what we don't know, right? Like I always say, like, how can you tell someone your favorite fruit is a persimmons when you haven't tasted a mango? And so for me, what I love is being able to help ideate with you or like brainstorm with you. Not to say like this is the path that you need to take or this is absolutely right for you, but something that maybe you haven't considered, I can help brainstorm and ideate with you, if that makes sense. But the whole point is we'll get clear on a realistic path, something that feels really sustainable, doable. And again, I said in day 2, like process of elimination is huge. So like if you're not willing to do some of these things that are required for that path, great, we're going to cross it off. We're going to find the one that does. Awesome. I think, let me just double check. Yeah. I am at time, actually. I have to hop off, but if you have any other questions, please let me know in the chat. I actually do look back at the notifications, or you can actually just email, hit reply. Otherwise, I hope to see you inside of Inner Magic. Again, just to make sure we're on the same page, the enrollment ends on January 30th. The cohort begins on February 2nd, and this is going to be a 90-day journey where we're going to walk through getting clear on what that next direction is and starting to take real action towards it together. And then we can address anything that's coming up, any external challenges that are tactical or strategic, or chances are the internal stuff coming up, the resistance, the fear, the worries, the anxiety, all of that. And the goal is to really build momentum, get unstuck, get moving in that direction. Otherwise, if for those of you who know, like, I'm not joining Inner Magic, I just really want to honor you for your decision and thank you for your participation over these next 3 days. You have your workbook, so I hope that you can start going through this on your own and just know you got to start moving. Any micro action is really great in the right direction. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. This was so much fun. It's so good to see old clients as well. I just really appreciate all the support and you guys taking time out of your day. It means so much, and you guys just make everything better. So I appreciate you and have a wonderful rest of your evening. Take care.